Welcome back to I Don't Have Time to Read. Are you ready to dive into another amazing story?
Always ready. I'm particularly excited about this one, actually.
Oh, what is it about this one that has you so intrigued?
Well, this one really dives deep into those complicated relationships that can span like decades, and how those relationships, they just evolve and change over time. It's fascinating stuff.
Sounds juicy. What are we reading today?
Before We Were Strangers by Renée Carlino.
Okay, Before We Were Strangers. What's the basic premise here? Give us the lowdown.
So imagine this. Two college sweethearts, Matt and Grace, meet as freshmen at, get this, NYU. They have this undeniable connection right from the start.
NYU. Okay, so we're already starting in a super romantic setting. I love it. What are their stories? What do they study?
He's all about photography. Wants to be the next Ansel Adams, And she's a music major, super talented, plays the guitar, writes her own songs, the whole 9 yards. And their meet cute is absolutely adorable.
Okay, I am sold. Tell me everything.
So picture this. Matt's moving into his dorm room, struggling with this heavy desk. And who comes along but Grace, offering to help? Sparks fly instantly. It's one of those moments you just know is going to be significant,
Ugh, I love it. Classic, timeless. Okay, so they're both artsy. They meet in this super cute way. What happens next?
Well, their connection deepens as they explore New York City together. Those early days are pure magic, sharing their passion for the arts, discovering hidden gems in the city, those little adventures,
It's all about those shared experiences when you're falling in love, isn't it? That's what really bonds you. But didn't you say something about their relationship being kind of complicated?
Yeah. As their feelings intensify, things get a little messy. Grace is a virgin and hesitant to take things further physically.
I can see how that could create some tension.
Right. And Matt, on the other hand, he's totally smitten with her. But he's also trying to respect her boundaries, So you can see the dilemma there. Can a platonic friendship really survive when there's that kind of unspoken attraction simmering beneath the surface?
That's a really good question. Already hooked. So where does this tension lead them?
Well, things kind of erupt one night. A night filled with a bit too much alcohol and a whole lot of miscommunication.
Uh-oh. Sounds like trouble is brewing.
Yeah, Grace finds out that Matt's been spending Friday nights at the photo lab. And let's just say it has a reputation.
Oh, no. A reputation for what? Don't leave me hanging.
Late night hookups. Let's just put it that way. Not exactly the kind of place you want your boyfriend hanging out at if you're trying to keep things platonic.
So Grace finds out about this, and naturally she's hurt and confused. How does she react?
Well, she makes some impulsive choices of her own that night, ends up hooking up with another guy. And that leads to a huge confrontation with Matt. They're both drunk. Emotions are running high, and in the heat of the moment, they make a rash decision.
A rash decision. Please tell me they didn't.
Oh, they did. They get married.
Married? Are you serious? Talk about impulsive.
It's a complete disaster, of course, and they get the marriage annulled pretty quickly. But the damage is done,
I bet. That kind of experience can really shake the foundation of a relationship. So what happens to them after this crazy night?
Graduation rolls around, and they decide to go their separate ways. Matt accepts a photography internship in South America, wanting to put some distance between them.
That makes sense. Sometimes you just need a fresh start after something like that.
Exactly. And Grace, she goes on tour with a musician, pouring her heart into her music. So they both chase their dreams, but there's this unspoken weight between them. They try to reconnect a few times, but things just keep getting in the way.
Like what? What keeps them apart?
Well, misunderstandings mostly. They both have some baggage from their past, and it just keeps creating this wall between them. Oh, and there's one more thing. Matt gets married.
He gets married. Hold on. I thought they were supposed to be endgame.
Well, yeah. But this new wife, Elizabeth, she's manipulative and jealous, and she does everything she can to keep Matt and Grace apart.
Sounds like a recipe for disaster. So how long does this separation last?
15 years.
15 years. Wow. Talk about a long time to carry around the weight of a past love.
It's a long time, but as fate would have it, they eventually cross paths again.
Okay, how does that happen? 15 years is a long time to just bump into someone randomly.
You're not going to believe this, but they meet at the same subway station where they first met. 15 years later, same place, same spark.
Oh, come on. That's straight out of a movie. This is too good. What happens next?
Well, that's where things get really interesting. Matt discovers that Grace is a widow now, and get this. She has a teenage daughter named Ash, a daughter he never knew existed.
Oh, hold on. A daughter. That changes everything. So what does Matt do?
He's completely floored, obviously, but he's also incredibly drawn to Ash. He wants to be a part of her life to make up for lost time. And then, in a moment of truth, Elizabeth, Matt's ex-wife, reveals a bombshell.
Okay, another bombshell. I have a feeling this one's going to be big.
Oh, it is. She admits that she sabotaged the relationship all those years ago, out of jealousy.
Are you kidding me? That's insane. I can't believe she would do that. Poor Grace. And so now Matt and Grace are faced with all this baggage from the past, and they have to figure out how to move forward. It's got to be incredibly complicated.
It is. They have to navigate the pain and regret, the guilt and the confusion. But they also have to decide if they're willing to give their love a second chance, even after all these years.
It's like they're standing at a crossroads, and they have to choose which path to take.
Exactly. And that's just the beginning of their journey.
Welcome back to I Don't Have Time to Read. We left off with Matt and Grace facing a pretty huge revelation. I mean, finding out his ex-wife intentionally kept them apart. Oof.
Right. Talk about a bombshell. And just as they're processing all of that, trying to figure out what it means for them, another curveball gets thrown their way.
Okay, so what is it this time? Another ex?
Yeah.
A secret twin?
Not quite. Matt gets offered a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. A dream photography assignment, actually.
Ooh, that sounds promising. What kind of assignment?
It's with National Geographic. Like the ultimate dream for any photographer.
Yeah, that's huge. But didn't you say there was a catch? What's the downside?
The assignment is in Singapore.
Singapore, that's pretty far away.
It is. And for Matt, it's a heart-wrenching decision. He has this incredible opportunity to advance his career, to achieve a dream he's probably held for years. But accepting it would mean leaving Grace and Ash just as they're starting to reconnect.
Oh, wow, that's rough. What a dilemma. So what's more important to him? His career or this newfound love?
It's a real test of his priorities, that's for sure. And for Grace, this must be so difficult. She's just opened her heart to him again, and now there's this looming possibility of separation.
After 15 years of silence, too. The timing couldn't be worse.
You're telling me. This situation really puts their commitment to the test. You know, it would be so easy for old insecurities and doubts to resurface, given their history. But what's remarkable is that they don't fall back into those old patterns.
They don't.
Yeah.
So how do they handle it?
They choose to talk. Like really talk, openly and honestly. They have those difficult conversations, expressing their fears, their desires, everything. But they do it with a level of understanding and empathy that was missing before.
Okay, so they've learned from their past mistakes. They're not just shutting down or getting defensive.
Exactly. They're communicating. And that's where we see the real growth in their relationship. They're not those same impulsive, insecure young adults they were back in college. They've matured.
It sounds like they're finally approaching their relationship like adults. But what about the job? What does Matt decide to do?
He makes a decision that truly shows the transformative power of love.
He chooses Grace.
He does. He turns down the Singapore assignment.
Wow. I mean, I know it's just a story, but that's a huge decision. He's essentially choosing love over career ambition.
It is, and it's a powerful statement about what truly matters to him. He's not just saying he loves Grace. He's proving it through his actions.
He's putting his money where his mouth is, so to speak. It really shows how much he values this second chance with her and Ash.
And in a way, this decision brings their story full circle. Remember, they started their relationship in that NYU dorm room full of dreams and aspirations, and now they're choosing to build a life together, prioritizing love and family above individual ambitions.
I love that. It's a beautiful message about the importance of connection and choosing happiness. So they're staying put. No more globe-trotting adventures for them.
Well, not exactly. They do eventually travel together, but as a family. And yes, they do get their happy ending.
Okay, good. I was getting worried there for a second. So how does it all wrap up?
They have a beautiful wedding ceremony, surrounded by loved ones. It's a celebration of their enduring love and the very unconventional path that led them back to each other. But it's not just about Matt and Grace, you know. It's about this new family unit they're creating, embracing Ash and acknowledging all the complexities of their past.
So it's a happy ending for all of them.
It is. There's a sense of peace and contentment as they navigate the joys and, let's face it, the challenges of blended family life. They've weathered some serious storms and they've come out stronger on the other side. But even beyond that happy ending, the book leaves you with a powerful message.
What's that? What's the final takeaway?
It's about having the courage to take risks, to choose love and happiness, even if it means veering off the expected path. Matt and Grace, at different points in their lives, made choices that led them away from what seemed like the safe or sensible route. But those choices, those detours, those leaps of faith, They ultimately brought them back to each other and to a deeper understanding of themselves.
It's like that saying, sometimes you have to get lost to find yourself.
Exactly. And this book reminds us that those moments of perceived failure or heartbreak, those wrong turns, can actually be catalysts for growth and self-discovery.
It's about trusting the journey, even when it's messy and unpredictable.
Exactly. Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I want to ask you, what's resonated with you the most so far?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's that reminder that it's never too late for second chances.
Yeah.
And sometimes the most beautiful love stories are the ones that take the most unexpected detours.
I love that. And you know what else strikes me about their story? The power of communication. Seeing how Matt and Grace learn to really talk to each other, to be vulnerable and honest. It makes you think about how important that is in any relationship, romantic or otherwise.
Oh, absolutely. You can't build a strong connection without open and honest communication.
Couldn't agree more. So, are you ready to explore the ending and see what final thoughts Carlino leaves us with?
Definitely. Let's dive into the last part of Before We Were Strangers and unravel the deeper meaning behind their journey. Welcome back to I Don't Have Time to Read. We're wrapping up our deep dive into Before We Were Strangers. It's been quite a journey for Matt and Grace, hasn't it?
It really has. And, in this final part, Carlino does offer us a glimpse into their happy future. We see them navigating the ups and downs of blended family life, finding their groove as a new unit, like figuring out holiday schedules, dealing with teenage drama, all that good stuff. But they do it together.
So there's a sense of peace, like they've finally found their place in the world.
Definitely. There's this heartwarming sense of contentment as they embrace those simple everyday moments. Family dinners, watching movies together, just being present with each other. But the book doesn't just stop there, It doesn't tie everything up neatly in a bow. It leaves you with something more.
Okay, I'm all ears. What is it? What's that lingering thought that Carlino leaves us with?
I think it's about having the courage to take risks. To choose love and happiness even when it means, maybe not following the most conventional path. Both Matt and Grace, at different points in their lives, made choices that led them away from what seemed like the safe route. They followed their passions, their instincts, and sometimes those choices led to heartbreak, to disappointment. But ultimately, those experiences, those detours, those leaps of faith, they brought them back to each other and to a deeper understanding of themselves.
It's like sometimes you have to wander a bit to find your way back home.
Exactly. And Before We Were Strangers reminds us that those moments of perceived failure, those wrong turns, they can actually be catalysts for growth, for self-discovery. They can lead us to unexpected destinations, places we never thought we'd end up, but are ultimately meant to be.
It's about embracing the journey, even with all its bumps and curves, right? Because those imperfections, those unexpected turns, that's what makes the story interesting.
Absolutely. And in the end, isn't that what makes a love story, or any story for that matter, truly compelling? The ups and downs, the twists and turns, the moments of doubt, and then that ultimate triumph of the human spirit. It's about resilience. It's about hope. And it's about the enduring power of love.
Beautifully said. It's a reminder that sometimes the most fulfilling paths aren't always straight lines. So for our listeners out there, I think a great question to ask yourselves as you go about your day is this. What risks are you willing to take to pursue your own happiness? What detours might lead you to unexpected joys? And how can you embrace the twists and turns of your own journey with courage and an open heart?
Because sometimes those unexpected paths, they lead to the most beautiful destinations.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive into Before We Were Strangers. I hope you enjoyed exploring the world of second chances, the enduring power of connection, and the courage it takes to choose love. And until next time, happy reading.